Welcome back to the World Trade Webcast. Our guest this week is Garrett Workman, Associate Director of the Atlantic Council and author of the newly released report from the Atlantic Council, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership, Big Opportunities for Small Business. We've been talking all week about TTIP, and yesterday we began our discussion about the policy recommendations in the report. Garrett, I was hoping you could pick up the discussion here with the remaining recommendations.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of our big focus points with the U.S. government in particular was about making the regulatory process easier to understand and more transparent. And what that really means is giving everyone who has a potential to be impacted by a regulation an equal opportunity and equal voice to comment on that proposed regulation, have the governments do more of a sort of cost-benefit analysis of each proposed regulation. The way it works right now is, even if it's hard to find, when the U.S. government has a proposed rule or regulation, anyone can go on regulations.gov and sort of provide comments on how it would affect them. What are the pros and cons of that regulation? In Europe, it's a little bit more difficult, where the European Commission sort of proposes a new rule, the European Parliament votes on it. There's a bit of an opportunity for companies and individuals and civil society to sort of understand what that regulation is before it's actually implemented, but it's difficult, and you kind of have to be in Brussels to take advantage of that. And so the U.S. government is really insisting on the fact that both European and American companies should be able, and like I said, and civil society and individuals should have an equal opportunity to sort of understand what these regulations are while they're still in the proposal stage. Make sure that they're actually benefiting society without being overly burdensome to business, and giving everyone an equal opportunity to comment on that. There's also things that we think should be included in that section, like giving SMEs additional time to comply with new regulations, providing them with training on how these new regulations would affect them. As much as we can, let's limit the number of paperwork and forms and documents that have to be filled out. So we think regulation is good when it's done effectively. We think it should be done in a way that people can comment on it, understand how it affects them, and be better prepared to comply. On the other side of the Atlantic, this is our sixth recommendation, is to demystify the export process and provide easy-to-understand resources that connect SMEs directly to their customers. So what does that mean? We think basically that the U.S. and EU should use this opportunity that TTIP provides them to come together, talk more about what are the challenges that the companies are facing in each industry. Let's put together some websites where people can go, if they're in the information technology industry, if they're in the construction industry, no matter what it is. Let's look at the most traded sectors, and let's see what are the barriers that those companies are facing. Let's list them out so that if a company actually really wants to export, they can find out how to do that, hopefully in a one-stop shop kind of way. And then the other side of it is government procurement. Both of these countries or regions are incredibly wealthy and large, and there's a lot of government contracts out there. On this side, the EU just recently finished an agreement with Canada, which has a really innovative approach to this, where essentially every government contract, where I believe it's over 50,000 Canadian dollars, will be put on a centralized website where any European or Canadian firm can bid on that contract. There's a lot of restrictions on that at the U.S., especially at the state level, and it's going to be, frankly, pretty difficult for the U.S. to convince its states to lift those requirements. But at least if we could do it at the federal level, where we're not saying this is every single company in the world, but if it's a reputable American or European company, why are we making our government, frankly, spend more money for a worse product if there's a better a competitor that happens to be based in Europe, or vice versa? So that could be a huge benefit for small businesses that are in the procurement industry. And the last thing is that we focused on case studies that had taken advantage of export promotion programs on either side of the Atlantic. But it's pretty rare that people actually know, A, that those programs exist, or B, how to take advantage of them. So our recommendation is that we should expand those programs that work and actually make sure that SMEs that want to use them know how to find them. For example, the U.S. Department of Commerce has a program called Gold Key, where the commercial service can sort of help contact and set up meetings for you with potential clients and companies in a foreign country. It's usually offered free of charge if your company is small enough. But even after I knew that program existed and knew what it was called and who was running it, finding out information about who I could actually call to get any information about it was incredibly difficult. So if I was a small business of 5-10 people, I think after a couple of afternoons of endless Google searching, you might just give up. So I think we should make sure that these programs that do work, we should make sure that people know about them and make them and expand them. And that's an example of something that might not be directly in TTIP, but we should take advantage of this time where we're talking to each other at such a high level to make sure that we can coordinate our approaches on export promotion.
Excellent. That's a great overview, Garrett. And so we're just about out of time, but just sort of as a parting thought here for our viewers, what is it going to take now to actually get all or some of these 7 recommendations to be reflected in the actual agreement?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in some ways, we're lucky because small businesses are one of the more or less easier parts of this agreement. I think both sides recognize the importance of small business. It's important to note that this is a historic thing that we're even talking about. TTIP would be the first agreement for the EU, and along with the Trans-Pacific Partnership for the US, the first or second ever trade agreement for the United States that has a specific SME chapter. I think both sides are recognizing that their small businesses are open to trade and would like to be doing more trade. The ones that are actually growing their balance sheet and hiring more people, whereas small businesses that focus only on their domestic market are actually contracting overall. So I think they recognize that SMEs want to trade. They need more market share. It's an important opportunity. TTIP is an important opportunity to give them that chance. So I think that the real difficult issues are going to be things like financial services, things like industry and natural gas exports, and things like agriculture, which have always been was probably really the reason that we haven't had a transatlantic free trade agreement before. But I think our economies have shifted in such a way that there's such a huge opportunities for small businesses and services companies to take advantage of the transatlantic market that we shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good in this agreement. If neither side is going to get everything that they want, but I think both sides realize that they need to do something between the two of them if they want to maintain their place at the center of the global economic table. And I think everyone realizes that we need a little bit more political leadership, both from Brussels and especially, I would say, from the White House. We have a really ambitious trade agenda, and now it's time to take it to the House, take it to the Senate, make sure that they understand the importance of trade. We have a new Congress and a new commission in Brussels. This is a really good opportunity for a fresh start, so we shouldn't miss that chance.
Well said, Garrett. And for more information on the report or to review the report in its entirety, visit the Atlantic Council's website. And that's all the time we have today. Please join us again on Monday as the World Trade webcast continues. For our latest schedule of upcoming episodes, subscribe to us with any of the links below and bookmark this page. All of our previous webcasts can be found right here at thinkglobal.com/webcast. Garrett, thanks again for participating and for sharing your insights with us on the report.
Thank you.
And again, we've been talking with Garrett Workman from the Atlantic Council. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on Monday.